Hey, this is Derek and welcome to another episode of Dante's Combo Guide series. Strap yourselves in because this one's coming in hot, baby. Okay, in this video, I wanted to take a look at Balrog's ignition mode and specifically analyze those moves which are impacted by ignition, how they change, what kind of buffs they receive, and how we can incorporate those new buffed effects into our combos. So aside from the fact that ignition enables you to execute the super moves Real Impact and Pyromania, it also gives friction a launch buff. Flint Wheel will now launch, Featherlite now causes a ground bounce, and Cruiser launches as well. However, before we get started, I want to point out that sometimes you might notice that these ignition power-ups on the various moves, whether Flint Wheel, Featherlite, and Cruiser, sometimes they don't really seem to work for whatever reason and it seems inconsistent. So for example, here with Flint Wheel, you see that sometimes it is launching, but then other times it's not. So the reason behind that, it's not a timing or an input issue or anything like that, it's because you're actually switching away from the weapon. So for whatever reason, if you switch to a different weapon before Balrog's attack finishes, somehow the ignition effect or the buff is getting cancelled out. So keep that in mind when you are incorporating these moves into your combos. If you are counting on getting a specific launch or a specific follow-up after using one of these moves, be sure that you're not changing weapons too quickly. Okay, with that said, let's take a look at how we can combo and follow up after using some of these buffed moves. So after we launch with friction, you'll notice that upstream and a couple of the launchers are a little bit wonky to kind of chase the enemy into the air. But if you just use a single hit launcher like Crystal or just high time without doing the rising effect, and especially if you trick up afterward, you'll notice that these are really good follow-ups and allow you to combo quite smoothly into the air. Now you could also just jump and just continue comboing from there, but where's the fun in that, honestly? Alternatively, you could also go right into trick up and then continue fluidly. Now with Flint Kick, this move is a little bit awkward to follow up. You'll notice that Million Stab doesn't really work. The same thing with Trickster's Air Trick as well. It just doesn't really in a good spot to continue the combo and follow up. Redline will combo, but you can't jump cancel it, so it's kind of useless. But the best follow-up by far is Cerberus's Rock Back. This thing gets you right underneath the enemy and you're in prime position to continue your combo. Now, after launching with Cruiser, you can do all kinds of things because you're right beside the enemy. You can go right into Light Blow and then go from there. You can do a stance change into upstream if you want to stay on Balrog, or you can change weapons and do whatever juggle you feel like. And finally, Featherlight's Ground Bounce. So the thing with this move is that your follow-up options can vary drastically depending on how high you are or how far away you are from the ground. So if you're relatively low and close to the ground, Cerberus's pole play is a perfect follow-up. It puts you in a prime position to jump cancel it into whatever air move and then continue your air combo easy peasy. But if you're higher up in the air, however, naturally pole play is no longer a good option. The enemy is going to be flat on the floor long before pole play makes it down to where they are. Instead, you can do things like trick up into Featherlight and then continue with an air combo from there, and that's pretty good, it's consistent. But perhaps an even better option is ground trick. Now after a ground trick, you can do all kinds of cool stuff just like with Cruiser. For example, you can go right into Light Blow, you can also do a stance switch and relaunch if you're still on Balrog, or you can switch to one of your other weapons and go right into a juggle like what I'm showing here. And another cool thing about canceling Featherlight into ground trick is that it makes it a lot easier to time your weapon switch, and it makes sure you won't switch too early and therefore negate the ground bounce effect. At least for me, I found it was much easier. Alright, that's it from me, squad. As always, I hope you found that helpful. If you liked the video or learned something, please like and subscribe because it really helps me out. I have a lot more content planned for this combo series, so stay tuned. I'm out for the rest of the weekend, so have yourself a fantastic weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Don't you dare say it, Jackpot!